All right, everyone. Welcome to Mixed Level Yoga. Today we're focusing on the throat chakra. Let's begin in child's pose. So having your feet together to touch at the rear of your mat. Have your knees as wide apart as you need so that your pelvis can easily drop back towards your feet. And then anywhere you want to rest your head, either sideways or down on the forehead on the ground. Anywhere you want to place your arms, just take a moment to shift. If your forehead is on the floor, it might feel good to just shake your head no gently against the ground. Feel the neck begin to loosen. Or let the pelvis sway a bit side to side. Feel the lower back and hips begin to loosen. Just feeling out your body, perhaps through small movements. And then eventually through being still. And in that stillness, tune into the subtlest movement of your breath. And in the way that it's naturally flowing through your body right now, observe what kind of energy you feel through the state of your mind, whatever emotions you're carrying. And becoming more neutrally observant of all of that, so that it's this from seat of consciousness that you perhaps begin to clarify an intention for your practice. This practice of peeling the layers of stuff we might accumulate from watching the news or from being still, sitting down at the computer, stuff that our mind might go through with what's happening in these times. And as we peel those layers, just getting back to your source of truth and strength, the power that is you. So as you clarify your intention, begin to clarify your breath, inhaling a little slower. Feel where it expands in your body, and then exhale through the mouth with a sound. You're all on mute, so get as loud as you need to get. Again, inhale a little deeper. And through the mouth, sound it out. In the past few days, each day, we've been focusing on each chakra or energy center. We began with the root. Right now, we're rooting down this feeling of security, safety within ourselves and our environment. Start to create a rhythm in the breath, a balanced inhale with exhale. Continue to exhale through your mouth and whisper it out so you can hear your breath. And now as you reach the arms forward, separating the hands hips width apart, so a little wider, begin to circle your pelvis to the left as you take a deep breath, coming forward to all fours, parallel your shins. Exhale, circle to the right, and again drop the pelvis towards your feet. And take that a few rounds. Go in both directions. Allow it to become more organic so you don't have to plan which way you're going. There's no right or wrong. Just feel into your neck. Maybe that wants to move. Maybe the shoulders want to move. And from the root chakra, the next day we focused on just above that, the second chakra, which has to do with flow, ability to move with ease and creativity and spontaneity and trust. So feel that here as you breathe in through the nose. Continue to breathe out through the mouth. And then coming onto all fours, so your knees are right under your hips, but your wrists are a couple inches in front of your shoulders. Ground the fingers flat, feel rooted through your palms, and begin to stretch the lower spine from your pelvis, inhaling to coil your chest up. Pause there and take another breath, lifting the heart. Feel the belly expand, mid-back contract. And as you exhale, tuck the toes under, keep the knees on the floor, and then scoop the belly in, tuck the tailbone under your body, dropping your head round the back, and pause, full cycle of breath, lifting the navel. So the third chakra was that of the navel center, solar plexus. Then inhale into cow and start to move, just one inhale, one exhale, through cat-cow pose. Breathing out as you round. Rolling the shoulders back as you breathe in. The third chakra being that of willpower, our ability to move inertia and focus on our purpose, our resilience, our source of strength. Let's take lateral circles. So begin to dip your front ribs towards the floor and then roll over to the right and lift the rib cage. Roll over to the left and sink the rib cage. Try that a couple more times and then switch directions. Breathing in as the rib cage dips down. Breathing out as the rib cage lifts up. Opposite direction a few times. Now as you close the lips, begin to feel the warmth you create through Ujjayi breathing, which is a great way to focus on the throat chakra because it's done by narrowing the back of your throat and creating whispering sound. Now start to make your way into a seated position. Any comfortable seat that allows you to ground firmly through the left and right sitting bones and lift up tall but not feel rigid. Perhaps closing your eyes as you invite you to place your hands at your throat, just gently, sitting at your throat. Then we went into the heart chakra, which was the fourth, that of compassion and empathy for ourselves and the world around us. So today, the throat chakra, it's also called Vishuddha, Sanskrit for pureness. It's in the area of the throat and it governs the anatomical regions of the thyroid, parathyroid, jaw, neck, mouth, tongue, and larynx. To be open and aligned in the fifth chakra is to speak, listen, and express yourself from a higher form of communication. The earth element here is ether or space. Ways to open the fifth chakra are through chanting, singing, humming, reading aloud. Here's some ancient wisdom for expressing your truth. Number one, first ask yourself, is what I'm about to say true? Number two, if so, proceed to the second gateway and ask, is what I'm about to say necessary? And if the answer is yes, the third gateway is to ask yourself, is what I am about to say kind? Listening is also an essential aspect of balance in the throat chakra. And when we activate this energy center, we drop the facade of social conditioning. And we awaken to our true human potential. The mantra sound is hum. The color is turquoise. So instead of beginning our practice chanting Om, I invite you to chant hum. It's spelled H-U-M. So with your hands at your throat gently, feel the vibration as you create that sound. Take a deep inhale down to the pit of your belly. Breathing in. Breathing out, release the hands. So much about self-expression in this chakra. So let's get out of a little bit of rigidity, if there's any right now, by taking lion's breath. It's a deep inhale, filling up the lungs, filling up the belly. And when you exhale, you stick out the tongue like a lion. You open the mouth wide, and it's actually done with the eyes crossed. So be silly with it. Let it be just a way of letting go and expressing. You can roar it out too if you like. So here's how it goes. Let's try a couple more rounds. Deep breath in. Inhale. Last time, breathe in, hold the breath, clenching the fists, maybe even clenching the face, squeeze the buttocks, feel that tension, and then let it release. And then just begin to turn the head down towards the chest, inhaling one ear to one shoulder, look up. Exhaling opposite ear to the other shoulder. Take one more head roll, really slow. Back to Ujjayi, breathing with the mouth closed, equally sustaining the breath through the nose. Then switch the head rolls. Breathing in, feel the pelvis firming into the ground, rooted. Breathing out, feel the navel draw in, lower spine lifted, chest broad. And then from here, we're going to come all the way down to the belly. And since we're focusing quite a bit on the neck area, let's open up the shoulders to help that. So set your right ear all the way down onto your mat. Straighten your right arm out to the right so the palm is face down in line with your shoulder. And then press the floor away with your left hand beside your left ribs, gently rolling over to your right hip. Now soften the right shoulder blade down your back. Feel the space in the right side of your neck. Hear your breath again as you close the lips. If you feel pretty open in that inner shoulder, you could step the left foot behind you, go a little deeper by putting more weight on it. Let's take 3 more deep breaths through the nose here. As you exhale, roll onto your belly. Set your left ear down onto the mat. Slide your left arm straight out to the left, pressing the floor away with your right hand. Slowly roll over onto your left hip. Slide the left shoulder blade down your back ribs. Lengthen both sides of your neck. Listen to the calm, steady waves of your breath. If you want to go a little deeper into the shoulder, lean back further, maybe stepping the right foot behind you. Last 3 breaths. So in opening the different energy centers, it's important to feel and monitor balance. We can overdo it, we can underdo it. So let your breath be a gauge of how you're balancing energy flow. Keeping the breath consistently deep, steady, soft whisper in the back of the throat. Slowly roll onto your belly. And let's slide the forearms forward, lifting the chest in Sphinx pose, a gentle back bend. See that your elbows are about 1 inch in front of your shoulders, your palms are face down. Now feel your legs and bring your knees no wider apart than your hips width. Point your toes and press every toenail into the floor firmly. Ground your pubic bone. Now picture your tailbone. Actively lengthen it towards the space between your knees. So with that intention, you're creating space in your lower back. The belly slightly lifts away from the mat. With your hands still, imagine you're dragging them towards your hips. Feel the fronts of your shoulder bones roll behind you. And as you press your shoulder blades down the back, breathe into your chest. Slightly lift your chin for just a little more accent in opening the throat. 2 more breaths here. Soften the eyes. Relax the mouth. Then slide your wrists back alongside your floating ribs, preparing for Cobra pose. Bend your elbows close to your sides. Keep firming down the feet and pubic bone. Right under the shoulder blades, contract the mid-upper back and coil your chest up. Look ahead of you and lengthen the back of your neck. 1 more inhale. Tuck the toes behind you. Press the hands into the floor and lift up through hands and knees or full plank. Pause in your version of plank. Feel the lift of the sides of your waist, your lower belly. Look at the floor in front of your hands. Push the ground away with your hands and feel space in the shoulder joints. With bent knees, engage the belly and lift your hips as high as you can away from your hands. Downward facing dog. See your feet a little wider than hips distance and begin to spin out your left foot, straighten your left leg, press the left heel into the floor and bend the right knee. Look under your left armpit towards the ceiling and push the ground away with your hands. Take a deep inhale. Slow exhale, stretching that side body. Let's switch sides. Bend the left knee a lot. Turn out the right foot. Spin the right heel to the mat. Look under your right armpit. and press down through the hands. Deep breath in. Gentle whisper through the nose. Now, any other way you might like to shift around, take a few more breaths in Adho Mukha Svanasana. Downward facing dog, like pedaling the feet, shaking or nodding your head. Feel the ground through your hands so that you're rebounding your weight off the floor to lift the shoulders and free your neck. No rigidity in the throat space. Finding fluidity in the breath. Broaden your shoulder blades across your back ribs by rotating your triceps or outer upper arms towards the floor. Balance that out by firming the thumb and index into the floor. Then take one more deep breath. Bend your knees and lift your heels and hips high. Look in front of your hands. Take a full cycle of breath. Hold the breath out and lift your pelvic floor to walk or lightly jump to the front of your mat, forward fold. With your feet hips distance parallel, put a slight bend in your knees and press your hands either on the ground or shins or thighs. Lifting the chest, rock your weight forward a little heavier on the balls of your feet. Feel the support of your quadriceps engaging as you lift the navel towards the spine. Draw the shoulders back, take another breath in, lengthen through the neck. Exhale, fold down. Leading with the heart, breathe in, sweep the arms overhead to rise. Watch your palms touch. Then exhale, trace your thumbs down your center line. Ardha Surya Namaskar, half sun salute. Inhale, sweep the arms overhead. Hinge from your hips, maybe bend the knees. Exhale to fold. Press the ground to your legs. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold in. Firm down through your feet. Inhale, circle your arms all the way up. Palms touch. Exhale, join your hands together in your hearts. Let's add a variation to sun salutation A. Inhale, sweep the arms up. Stay upright. And exhale, bend your elbows apart like the shape of a cactus. Sliding the shoulder blades down your back ribs. Anchor your tailbone downward towards the floor between the heels. Feel the lower belly firm in. Then as you broaden the collarbones, picture right under your shoulder blades, you begin to bend the back to tilt the heart up. Find space in the back of your neck so the head's not collapsing. And let's take 2 more breaths. Feel the collarbones broaden from the sternum, the forearms reach out to the sides. Then as you exhale, join your palms at your heart, bend the knees and fold forward. Inhale, press to lengthen halfway up. Step back into plank pose. And as you exhale, glide forward, lift the belly. So as you lower and hug the elbows in, chest and belly come down at the same time if you can. Ground the feet and pelvis. Inhale into cobra. Tuck the toes, press up to all fours or full plank. Lift through the belly, downward facing dog. 3 to 5 deep breaths. Using these pauses in the practice to fine-tune the qualities of effort and ease being balanced, strength and fluidity. With bent knees, look in front of your hands. Exhale, empty the breath. Lift your pelvic floor to lightly land top of your mat, forward folds. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold in. With your feet hips width apart, parallel your feet, parallel your thighs, and bend your knees into a modified chair for a few breaths. You might try to graze the ground with your fingertips and play with keeping your hips that low. Glide your shin bones back and look down and see your toes. You want them to be visible from where you are. Hug in the bottom of your front ribs and anchor the tailbone downward. Feel the support for your lower back. Wrap the triceps forward, press the shoulders down and lift the heart. Take 1 more inhale. Press through all of your feet and exhale to rise up. Nice. Now let's bring the feet together to touch for full chair. We're going to break down sun salutation B into a semi-flow. Then we'll continuous flow. So with the feet touching, perhaps graze the floor with your fingertips, let the knees touch. Sink your weight back towards the heels. 3 breaths in chair. Inhale. Exhale, relax the shoulders. Inhale, glide the shin bones back. Exhale, sink the tailbone. 1 more breath in. Shift your weight forward. Exhale to folds. Inhale, press to lengthen halfway. Step to plank pose. Exhale, glide forward and slowly lower. If you're going to upward dog, which is a more advanced version of the back bend, make sure that your shoulders are right above your wrists, chest is forward of the wrists. Then scoop the belly in, downward facing dog. Keep your 2 hips leveled and inhale, raise the right leg behind you. Feel the belly firm as you exhale to bend the knee towards your nose and softly land the foot just inside of your right hand. Separating your feet hips width apart, spin the back heel down. Keeping your hips facing forward, press down through all of your feet and slowly rise as you inhale. Warrior 1. Nice. So bending your front knee just over the heel, scissor your right outer hip back. Feel your back heel pressing into your mat as you spiral that inner thigh towards the rear of your mat. Lift your frontal hip bones. Feel the tailbone descend. Take one more deep breath. Maybe you're sealing the palms and looking up. As you exhale through plank, lower into your vinyasa. If you want more rigor, you can lift the right leg as you come down. Then both feet down as you inhale into cobra or upward dog. Contract the belly to help lift the hips to downward dog. Take a deep breath in. Stick out the tongue, lion's breath. Close the lips. Inhale, raise the left leg, squaring the hips. Exhale, contract the belly, round forward, knee to nose. Lightly land the foot inside of your left hand. Feet hips width apart, spin the right heel down. Keep your hips facing forward and root through your legs. Breathe in to rise. A few breaths in Warrior 1. So as you bend the front knee just over the heel, looking strong, everyone. Scissor your left outer hip back. Feel your right heel pressing the mat as you straighten the right leg. Spin the inner thigh towards the rear of your mat. Let your tailbone anchor down as you feel the lower belly lift. With an exhalation, take it all the way down from plank. Now, if you don't want to take a full vinyasa, you can put your knees on the floor, take a cat-cow, or skip it all together. If you can hear your breath becoming violent or choppy, take your pauses, take your rests, so that you're regulating how you're balancing your energy. Breathe in, breathe out. Couple more breaths in downward dog. Remember, you always have a choice. Everything I'm offering is a suggestion. You feel your own body and know what's right for you. With bent knees, look beyond your hands. On emptied breath, lift your pelvic floor to lightly land at the front of your mat, feet touch. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, fold. Knees touch. Inhale, sit back towards your heels and chair. Then root down to rise up. All right, so let's flow 2 rounds of Sun Salutation B. Focus more on your breathing, being consistent. However you need to change the movement, go at your pace of breath. Here we go, arms by your sides, breathe in, mouth closed, whisper it out. Inhale, bend the knees in chair. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, halfway lift. Step or float to Chaturanga, lowering as you exhale. Inhale, Cobra or Upward Dog. Exhale, downward facing. Inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale, the foot inside, right hand, back heel down. Inhale to rise all the way to Warrior 1. Exhale to lower into your choice of Vinyasa. Breathe in, lift the chest. Breathe out, Downward Dog. Inhale, raise the left leg. Exhale, the foot inside of your left hand, right heel down. Inhale to rise, Warrior 1. Exhale to lower into your choice of Vinyasa, or none. We'll meet in Downward Facing Dog. Checking in. How does your body feel right now? Is there any part particularly calling your attention? Sometimes it just needs to be acknowledged, and then tension can start to unwind a bit. Feel the strength and grace within your breathing. With bent knees, look forward. Bottom of the breath, lift your pelvic floor, lightly land, top of the mat. Inhale, lengthen forward. Exhale, fold. Knees touch. Inhale, sit back, chair pose. Exhale to rise up. Last round, energizing and warming up. Inhale, chair. Exhale, forward fold. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Step back, float back, however you want to vary your vinyasa. We'll meet in downward facing dog. From there, inhale, raise the right leg. Exhale the foot inside of right hand, back heel down. Inhale, rise to warrior one. Exhale, lower vinyasa or none. Breathe in, heart lifts. Breathe out, hips lift. Second side. Inhale, raise left leg. Exhale the foot inside of left hand, right heel down. Inhale, rise to Virabhadrasana 1. Exhale, lower vinyasa. Inhale, lift the heart. Exhale, lift the hips. 3 to 5 breaths in downward facing dog. Nice work, everyone. If you're feeling like your body needs to release some heat, take your own lion's breaths. Growl it out. Yell it out if you need to. Let your body express itself. Let you express yourself. Bend the knees, look forward. And with a breath, lightly land top of your mat. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Exhale, forward fold. Knees bent. Inhale, chair pose. Exhale to rise all the way up. Separating your feet hips distance apart, then step your left foot 2/3 as far back as you did in warrior one. Keeping your hips facing forward, all of your feet on the ground, feel equal weight on both legs. Now raise your left arm up. If you have something like a strap here, we're going to come into a shoulder stretch. You can grab that strap or scarf, whatever you have, and hang it from your left hand behind you. Otherwise, follow me. Right hand helps to rotate left tricep forward, plug the left shoulder bone down. Bend the left elbow towards the back center of your head so your left palm lands between your shoulder blades. If you don't have a strap, catch your shirt there. With the right hand underneath behind you, catch your shirt and try to walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp, maybe they don't. Ground to your feet, toes spread, energize your legs, lift your kneecaps without locking the knees. Firm the belly in, then broaden and lift your chest up as you inhale. Exhale, begin to hinge from your hips towards your right shin, just a little bit, then pause. Breathe in, scissor the right hip slightly back, realign the hips squared, and lengthen the spine forward. As you breathe out, open your throat so that space between chin and chest is naturally long as you fold. A little deeper with each breath. Soften the shoulders away from your neck. We're here for 2 more breaths in this version of pyramid pose, Parsvottanasana. Feel the support of both your legs, especially that back heel grounding into the earth, quadriceps engaged as you open the hamstrings. Set your left hand on your right shin or just the inside of your right foot under the left shoulder, or to the right side of your right foot, which will make it a little more challenging if you like that. Use your right thumb and hook the crease of your right hip back. Realign the hips leveled. Then stretch your spine as much as you can down the midline of your mat, parallel to the floor, breathing in. Slide the shoulders away from your neck. Keep the pelvis still and rotate your rib cage to the right so your chest turns to face the right side. Breathe in, ground your feet and lengthen the spine some more. Breathe out. If you can, twist a little deeper, maybe raise the right arm. Draw the shoulders away from the neck. If you're raising the right hand, feel your wrists and shoulders stack in one line. Last 2 breaths here and revolve triangle pose. Harita Trikonasana. As you exhale, lower your 2 hands to frame your right foot. Look forward, inhale. Exhale, step forward, feet hips distance apart. Bend your knees, drop your chin to your chest. Start with the lower spine to stack each vertebra at a time as you inhale to rise up. Shrug your shoulders all the way to the top and release the shoulders back and down. Keep your hips facing forward. Step your right foot back 2/3 as far as you did in warrior one. Ground both of your feet entirely with legs straight and raise your right arm. Maybe there's a strap hanging from it. Use your left hand and rotate your right tricep forward. Press the right shoulder bone down. Guide the right elbow to bend behind the center of your head. Right palm lands between the shoulder blades. Grab your shirt if you don't have a strap. Reach the left hand underneath. Grab your shirt. Walk your hands as close together as you can. Maybe they clasp. Then reground the feet. Engage the front of your thighs, your belly. Breathe in. Tilt the heart up. Broaden the chest. Breathe out. Lead with the heart. Hinge from your hips a little bit. Ground the feet. Inhale, lengthen the spine some more. Square the hips. Exhale, fold a little bit more. And just like that, little by little, breath by breath, finding the range of motion that's truthful to maintaining a calm, steady flow of breath, maintaining the squaring of your hips, maintaining the length and integrity of your spine without closing the throat. Last 2 breaths in Mudita Parsvatanasana, pyramid pose. Now set your right hand down either on your left shin, the ground just under your right shoulder inside of the foot, or more challenging, to the left side of your left foot. Place your left thumb on the crease of your outer left hip. Drop back enough to square the hips again as you lift and lengthen the spine forward parallel to the floor. Inhale. Shoulder blades down your back. Steady the pelvis and rotate your chest to face the left. Exhale. Inhale, lengthen the spine some more from the pelvis. Ground firmly through your feet. Exhale, twist a little more. Maybe raise the left arm up. Got about 3 breaths or so here in revolved triangle. If the left hand is up, feel your wrists and shoulders stack in one line as you press both of your shoulder blades down your back ribs. Hugging your outer hips towards the midline, tractioning your lower spine as it lengthens from your pelvis forward. Look at your left foot. As you exhale, frame it with your 2 hands. Inhale, lift your heart, look forward. Exhale, step forward to folds. Again, bend your knees, drop your chin, and inhale to roll up, firming the belly in, grounding the feet, stacking 1 vertebra at a time. Lift the shoulders, shrug. With a big exhale through the mouth, release the shoulders back and down. Now, keeping your feet hips width, parallel at the top of your mat. Bring your hands to your lower back with your fingertips face down. And with your fingertips, encourage the flesh of your glutes to release down towards the backs of your knees. Tailbone anchors down. The belly firms in. Now, picture your back ribs lifting away from your pelvis. Feel the space in your lower back. Hug your elbows closer together. Feel the collarbones broaden. Breathe. Draw the shoulder heads behind you and then begin to press them downward as you lift the heart as if there's a string pulling your sternum straight up towards the ceiling. Looking up, find length in the back of your neck for about 2 or 3 more breaths in this supported standing back bend. So notice where you're bending the back mostly. It's right under your shoulder blades, not so much the lower back. Focus on lengthening the lower back. And then release upright to stand. And inhale the arms overhead. Exhale, bow forward. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Plant the fingertips, step the left knee back into a kneeling lunge. Scoot the left knee an inch or 2 further, just where you could find a nice stretch in the top of your left thigh and hip, your hip flexor. From down to your right foot, keep the knee and toes facing forward. In fact, imagine you're dragging that right foot to the back of your mat without moving it, so it feels really solid so that you can press your hands into your front thigh and lift your frontal hip bones up so the tailbone descends. Then that bowl shape of your pelvis is oriented upright. Yep, keep drawing the right hip back, left hip forward. Feel the lift of the front of your pelvis. Feel the tailbone descend. Back ribs lifting again like earlier. Reach the arms overhead and feel as though you're lifting from your hips, not just your shoulders. Lengthen and root down. Relax the shoulders down. Few options here to open the chest. Either cactus the arms apart, that's a nice place to start, back bending right under the shoulder blades, or interlace the fingers behind you and perhaps trace the knuckles of your hands down your left glute, down your left hamstring, maybe even down to the left calf without compressing the lower back. You can do that by anchoring the tailbone down and lifting the back ribs while focusing most of the contraction just under your shoulder blades. Last 2 breaths. Is there any unnecessary tension in the face? Relax the mouth. 1 more breath in. And roll yourself upright. Plant your fingertips on the floor. Walk your right foot front and center on your mat and straighten the back leg for warrior 2. Spin the back heel down. Turn the left toes slightly to face the front. Align right heel to the arch of your left foot and root down through your legs. Cartwheel the arms apart to rise in Virabhadrasana 2. Now feel the right outer hip wrap underneath your body so your right knee and middle toe are tracing the midline of your mat. Firm the top of your left thigh bone back so the pelvis, again, that bowl, is oriented upright, allowing the spine to find its most length. Then bring your hands behind your back and as much as you can interlace your fingers. Maybe the heels of the palms hug. Hug your elbows close together. And then wrap both arms over to the right side, maybe resting on the top of the right thigh. Keep the same bend in your right knee. Now look over your left shoulder behind you. Often we're not looking this way in Warrior 2, so just play with this a bit. Press the shoulder blades down your back ribs. Hug the bottom front ribs in towards your back, especially you back bendy people. And then lift up to the top of your head and feel your tailbone anchor straight down. Breathe in. Breathe out. Still looking over the left shoulder. Feel that left collarbone broaden from the sternum. Both shoulders stack above both hips. We're going to add a little neck stretch here as we begin to tilt right ear down to right shoulder. Maybe you're looking straight at the left side of your mat. Maybe you're looking down onto the left edge of your mat. Feel whatever angle is a nice stretch for your neck. 2 more breaths here. Keep grounding through your feet. Imagine you're dragging the feet towards each other without moving them. Open up the arms. Now let's take 2 more breaths in Warrior 2. Traditional version, looking past the right fingertips. Soften the shoulders down. Feel the lift through the back of your skull, firming in the navel. Now straightening your right leg, let's prepare for triangle. You might scoot your feet another inch or 2 closer together, or a little more, for a feeling of stability. Glide your pelvis sideways towards the rear edge of your mat while reaching your right hand past your right knee, lengthening this right underside of your torso as you decide how low to place your right hand, on your shin, on your thigh, or just to the right side of your leg. Keep wrapping the right glute underneath your body. Press the crease of your right hip back towards your left outer foot. Feel your left outer foot firm into the ground, rebounding a lift and lengthening up the left side of your body. You might like a side bend where you reach the left arm overhead, wrap the tricep towards the left side of your mat. Press the shoulder blades down the back. Careful not to lock the right knee. You can micro bend it if it's happening. Let's take 3 more breaths here in Utthita Trikonasana. If it feels okay on your neck, look up past your left thumb. Otherwise, look forward or down towards your right big toe. But steady your gaze to help steady your breath and focus. Moving into Ardha Chandrasana. From here, you might place the left hand on your left hip. Bend your right knee. Look at the ground in front of your right foot. Steady your gaze and breath. Place your right fingertips about 6 inches forward and diagonally to the right of your right pinky toe. Drag your left foot forward and flex the foot as soon as it leaves the ground. Lifting your left heel to the height of your hips, press the right hip crease like you did in triangle back towards your left outer foot. Feel as though your left foot was pushing against a wall. How solid that leg is supporting you as you breathe. Turn your chest to the left, just like triangle. You might raise the left arm if your balance feels pretty steady, or explore full moon pose, where you bend the left knee towards your belly in order to reach the left top of the foot with the left hand, kicking the left leg towards the back of your mat as you pull the foot, using the counter forces to support your balance as you coil the chest open. Firm the belly in. Whatever variation you're in, give it 2 more deep breaths. taking flight here as you open the hips and feel your center. If your left knee is bent, slowly straighten the leg, keep flexing the foot. Bend your right knee in slow motion, land, warrior two again. Reverse it, flip the right palm up and towards the back of your mat, just one in-breath. Then exhale, sweep your hands to the floor, optional vinyasa or child's pose, or meet us straight in downward dog. However, you can re-steady your breath. Downward facing dog. Breathe in. This time flutter your lips. Let it out. One more time. In through the nose. Let your lips go. Bend your knees a lot. Look in front of your hands. Lightly land at the top of your mat. Feet hips width. Inhale, lengthen halfway. Plant your fingertips. Step right knee back to a kneeling lunge. From down to your left foot, as if you're dragging it towards the rear of your mat, scoot the right knee back an inch or two so you can feel a nice stretch in the top of the thigh, front of the hip. Then root down, press your hands into your left thigh, and bring your pelvis upright by lifting your frontal hip bones. Scissor your left hip back, right hip forward, and now feel your tailbone as if it were a heavy anchor. Direct it down and lift your back ribs away from it. Feel the lengthening of your lower back, the firming of your belly. And with that, begin to raise your arms. Feel as if you're raising them from your hips. Draw the shoulders down, lift the heart, breathe. Now, adding a little more to the back bend, you could either bend the elbows apart like a cactus, coil the chest up, or interlace your fingers the other way, whatever's the awkward way, thumb or index finger on top, and glide your knuckles down the back of your right glute, right hamstring, maybe right calf, without compressing your lower back. So feel the sensations in your body as informants for you to find balance with exertion and ease. Even what we might consider negative in sensations is really just information for us to make conscious decisions with. And roll the spine upright. Plant your fingertips on the floor, setting up for warrior two. Slide your left foot front and center of your mat. Straighten the right leg, spin the right heel down. Pivot the right toe slightly to face the front. Align your left heel to intersect the arch of your right foot. Then press through your feet and windmill your arms to rise up. Virabhadrasana 2. Smooth transition. So feel your left outer hip wrap underneath your body. So your middle of your left knee, middle toe, align down the center of your mat. Firm the top of your right thigh bone back and feel the bowl shape of your pelvis upright, centered between your feet. Then bring your hands behind you. Switch the interlacing of your fingers if you remember which. Hug your elbows close together to broaden the chest. Wrap your arms to the left side of your hips, maybe resting on the top of the thigh. Look over your right shoulder and breathe. Relax the shoulders down. Lift through the back of your skull. Soften the skin on your forehead. We're going to stretch the neck a bit. So you might start by looking forward, then drop left ear towards left shoulder. Though we're creating some relaxation in the upper body, feel the strength and groundedness of the lower body. Though the feet are still, it's as if you're dragging them towards each other. You feel a little lift in your pelvic floor, a connection to your center. Lift the head upright. Open the arms wide. Find the traditional Virabhadrasana 2. And steady your gaze just past your left hand. Breathe in. Feel the breath whisper at your throat. Breathe out. Ujjayi pranayama, which means victorious breath. Firming down through your feet, straighten your left leg to prepare for triangle. You might shorten your stance a couple inches or so. Slide your hips sideways towards the rear edge of your mat, reaching your left hand beyond your left knee. Lengthening this left underside of your torso, decide where it's appropriate to lower your left hand. As you raise the right arm, you might look up towards your right thumb. But if it doesn't feel good on your neck, look forward or down at your left toes. Feel your left outer hip continue to wrap slightly under your body. Press the crease of your left hip back towards your outer right foot. Firm down to your outer right foot. Feel the strength up your right leg. Lengthen through the right side of your body. Maybe wrap the right tricep towards the right and reach the right arm overhead. Soften the shoulder blades down. Last 3 breaths. Grounding and expanding in Utthita Trikonasana. Bring those 2 qualities with you as we enter flights in Ardha Chandrasana, half moon. Getting there, you might place your right hand on your right hip. Focus your eyes on the floor just ahead of your left foot. Steady breaths. Bend your left knee. Crawl your left fingertips about 6 inches forward and to the left of your left pinky toe. Drag your right foot forward and flex the foot as soon as it leaves the floor. Lifting the right heel to the height of your hips, press the heel back as if stepping on a wall. Feel the left hip crease again, press it back towards your outer right foot. Open the chest entirely towards the right side of your mat and maybe raise your right arm. If the balance feels pretty stable, you might try full moon, bending the right knee towards your belly to catch hold of the top of your right foot with the right hand. Like a bow and arrow, kicking the right leg towards the back of your mat as you pull the foot. Feel the counterbalance to support, coiling your chest open without losing firmness at your center. Breathe in, breathe out. Last 2 breaths. If the right knee is bent, flex the foot, slowly straighten the leg. Bending your left knee, softly step back to Virabhadrasana 2. Yeah. Flip your left palm up. Sweep it overhead towards the rear of your mat. Peaceful warrior. Breathe in. Exhale, cartwheel your hands to the ground. Last vinyasa if you choose it. Otherwise, we'll meet in child's pose for a few breaths. Feel the sweetness and strength in your breathing. If you're on downward dog, set your knees down and roll your spine upright. If you're in child's pose, roll your spine upright. Take a look for a moment as we explore a back bend called camel pose, Ustrasana. I'm going to demonstrate it once and then I'll do it with you the second round. So we're going to start with the knees hips width apart, tucking the toes underneath. If you need more cushion for the knees, you can fold the mat a little thicker under it. We'll have the hands in the lower back just like we did in that standing version of this pose. Tailbone lengthens down, the hips remain right above the knees. Then, right under the shoulder blades, we create the arch to tilt the chest up. And by hugging the elbows close together, you already help to open the chest. You could keep your hands in your lower back. You could place one hand on one heel, then switch, or both hands on both heels if you don't feel any compression in the lower back. After your count of 5 breaths, we'll place the hands in the lower back, roll your spine upright, and come to sit for a few breaths. So let's try it together. Step your knees apart, hips width, tuck your toes behind you, place your hands on your lower back, fingertips pointing down. Encourage your tailbone to descend as you lift the back ribs away from it, firming the belly in. Breathe. Bend your elbows closer together, then roll the shoulders behind you and down as if there's a string pulling your sternum straight up towards the ceiling. Lift your heart. Breathe. You could stay here because we're going to do this 2 more times, or you could hold one heel or both heels. Just honoring your truth. And when you finish about 5 breaths in total, place your hands on your lower back again, contract your abdomen, and slowly roll the spine upright. Then find a comfortable seat and just sit with eyes closed, breathing naturally for a moment to rest. So we've got at least 1 more round of camel pose. If you really like it, you could do 2. So when you're ready to, come on up to your shins. Either tuck your toes. If you found with toes tucked, you were able to reach both heels pretty easily and want to explore a little deeper, you could untuck the toes, make the heels lower. Up to you. Imagine you're squeezing a yoga block between your thighs, outer hips hug the midline, tailbone descends, back ribs lift, shoulders roll back and down. Elbows close together, broaden the chest, tilt the heart up, breathe. Your count of 5 or more breaths before rolling your spine upright and having a seat to rest. Some people like to do camel pose with the chin completely tilted back. I prefer not to. Just see what feels good for you. I like to pretend that I'm holding an apple between my chin and chest, so there's length in the back of the neck. So when you've rested for at least 3 breaths, decide if you want to take one more Ustrasana camel on your own, or tone it down into bridge pose, which I'll do with you if you're doing bridge. So if you're going to bridge, come on down to your back, bring your feet in front of you, knees bent. And as you lie on your back, slide your arms straight down by your sides. Locate your feet by sliding them back enough where you could almost touch your heels with your fingertips, but not quite. Parallel your feet, hips width apart, ground your feet and shoulders, then inhale, lift the hips, actively lengthen your tailbone towards the space between your knees. Give yourself 5 to 8 full breaths before coming down in this posture. Slide the upper arms closer together under your back ribs, while keeping your arms straight. If your hands meet, maybe interlace the fingers. Grounding feet, shoulders, and outer upper arms, tilt your chin slightly back, opening your throat. Breathing to broaden the chest, open up the front of your torso, hips, and thighs. Inner thighs slightly rotate towards the floor. Feet energetically, not visibly, drag back towards the glutes, activating the hamstrings. If you were in camel pose, just stay seated to rest for a few breaths. If you were in bridge, lower the pelvis, separate the feet a little wider than hips width, and drop your knees together to touch. Either position you're in, set your left hand on your heart, your right hand on your lower belly. Into your palms, take 3 consciously deep breaths. If you're lying on your back, carefully roll over to one side. We're going to meet sitting down with your legs in front of you. Slowly make your way up. So as you're sitting, set your left leg straight in front. We're going to set it for a spinal twist. Either stepping your right foot in front of your right hip. Go a little further in the setup. You could cross the foot outside your left knee. You could also bend your left knee. Find the position that allows you to sit comfortably upright. Place your right hand on the floor behind your pelvis and raise the left arm as you press the floor. Breathe in to lift your spine tall. Relax the shoulders, and at your waistline, twist to your right, either holding the top shin or hooking your elbow outside the thigh. Press into the floor some more and inhale, lift the lower spine from the pelvis. Lift through the back of your skull. Exhale, hollow your belly and rotate your rib cage. Relax the jaw, relax the shoulders down. 2 more breaths. After those deep back bends, especially camel pose, which is particularly a deep one, spinal twists are a great way to neutralize the spine before we do the exact opposite, which is a forward fold. Unwind the spine. Let's go right to the other side. Straighten the right leg in front of you. Step the left foot either in front of the hip, cross to the outside of your right knee, and maybe bend the right knee too. Place the left hand behind your pelvis, raise the right arm up. Press down through both sitting bones and breathe in to lift and lengthen your spine. Breathe out, twisting to your left. Either hold the shin on top or hook your elbow outside the thigh. Inhale, feel the floor and lift from it. Exhale, hollow your belly and twist. Feel the strength of your obliques. breathing in through the nose, soft whisper out through the nose. One more deep breath. Also a great posture for stimulating digestion. Great to help you prepare for dinner if you haven't yet. And then unwind. Bring the feet together to touch, bend the knees apart for a hip opener and bound angle. As you hold your outer feet or your big toes, root down to your sitting bones and lift your heart. Open your throat, then bow from your hips little by little. The further you bow, the deeper you want to root your sitting bones. Again, that counterbalance. You could also walk the hands forward. You could crawl them over to the right for a few breaths if you'd like to side stretch, and then to the left for a few breaths. This posture is also great for opening up space in the sacrum and the lower back. So maybe visualize breathing into the areas where you feel this the most. This is Dillinger, he likes this pose. And then with your hands through center, lead with your chest. Inhale, slowly rise up. Straighten both legs in front of you for Paschimottanasana, separating your feet hips width. Flex your feet. If you have a strap, you can wrap it around the balls of your feet. If you don't, place your hands alongside your hips. From the fronts of your thighs, lift the spine, ground the pelvis. Keep the open space at your throat and lead with your heart so the chest reaches forward as you bow. Walking the hands forward, you might catch hold of the backs of your legs if you're not using a strap. You might clasp your big toes if you can do so without rounding the back. As you feel the open space between chin and chest, feel a slight lift of your chest, integrating a small back bend. Feel the weight of your pelvis, outer hips hugging your midline, lower spine lengthening forward from the pelvis. Last 2 deep breaths. Again, lead from the heart so the chest rises first. Inhale to rise. Before you lie on your back, in case shoulder stand or plow is new to you, I'm going to quickly demonstrate it. If you have any neck or shoulder injuries or any instability in those areas, I do not recommend practicing this pose. You can instead lie on your back and do an L shape, which I'll show first. Or if you have a wall you can put your legs on top of to rest on, you could do that. So in shoulder stand, if you are going into that, arms are really close to your sides, so you can press the floor with your hands. Then you'll use your hands to help lift your pelvis off the floor, engaging some of your back muscles here to lift the tailbone up, tilt the chin back. When you're in the posture, lifting the pelvis from the floor, you don't want to move your head side to side. You want to tilt the chin slightly back. Feel that your weight is not being held by your neck, but it's on your shoulders and your head and upper arms. You might bring the legs overhead into plow, or you could also bend the knees if you like. Bringing the elbows even closer together, holding your lower back so the pelvis stacks right above the shoulders. So take your choice. Shoulder stand, lying on your back, L shape, legs up. Plow, happy baby. Any relaxing way to lift your legs higher than your heart. Give yourself 3 to 5 more breaths in whichever cooling inversion you chose. If you're coming down from plow or shoulder stand, bend your knees, place your hands on your lower back, and use your hands to carefully lower one vertebra at a time. Tailbone comes down last, very gently. You might take a moment in child's pose or straightening the legs apart like a straddle, whatever feels good to you, or even circling the legs and the hips, massaging your glutes and lower back. Supine frog, where you turn out the legs and feet, maybe swiveling the hips. We are going to take one more posture before resting in Shavasana. One last one for the throat chakra, fish pose. So let's start by sliding the legs straight forward on the ground. Feet come together, but they're relaxed. And with the legs straight, begin with your arms down by your sides, palms face down. Slip your hands underneath your glutes so you're sitting on them, the thumbs touch. Then begin to press the elbows into the floor, puff up your chest and tilt your chin back. You might do so to the amount of lifting the upper back, where the top of your head touches the ground like this. Give yourself about 5 long exhalations, perhaps lion's breath, before gently lowering And as you're ready, softly lower your entire body into a position in which you can comfortably rest in stillness. Close your eyes there. Allow your breath to naturally flow. We'll be here for a few minutes.
Satanam, 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 Satanam. Satanam, 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 Satanam. Japaman Sada Satanam. Japaman Sada Satanam. Japaman Sada Satanam. Japaman Sada Satanam.
Continue to lie still, eyes closed. I'm going to make the music just a little bit louder as you might feel comfortable chanting along. If you feel more comfortable sitting up to chant, you could do that as well.
Satanam, 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 Satanam,
The chant is Satnam. Satnam is Sanskrit for true self. If you're still lying down, take a few breaths and begin to make your way up resonance of these
Japaman
sounds.
Sada Satanam, Japaman 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 Sada Satanam. Satanam, Satanam,
Please bring your hands together at your hearts. I offer you these words of affirmation. I speak from the heart. I delight in my self-expression. I am worthy of being heard. I speak up for myself. I listen to the needs of others. I speak thoughtfully. My voice is strong and compelling. Let's close the practice with that chant of hum. Take a deep belly breath in. Hum.